Bum, 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 bum. Yes, I'm a little guy. And you might be wondering, why am I a little guy? Well, because I need my number pad, and I have toggles connected to my 3D model on my number pad. And so that's not gonna work. Today, we are working on Incarnate. Incarnate. It is a map editing thingamabob that I found when I was looking at my map. Because I've made, hey, why are you blocking me? Fine, Delta, fine. Congrats on getting the first redeem, Slinky. And hello, Jade, hello. All right, today, exciting. Why did you block me? Mods, ban Deltora. How dare, the audacity. Any hoozles. We're working on the map. For EOS. EOS, for those of you who probably don't know because I don't talk about it enough, that's my home world. I already have the base map, but it's not editable. Editable? Yeah. So, I got this map editor, and I'm gonna have to trace my map into it. Trace it? Yes. I've inputted an image of it here. Oh! Here's the map. And I'm gonna have to trace over it to try to be able to edit it. And you guys are gonna keep me company while I do that. I was originally gonna have this all done before, like just like the land masses and stuff, and then we were gonna talk about mountains and whatnot. That was the original plan. However, I realized that the entire time that I was drawing on it, I was on the background layer instead. I was on the background layer instead of the foreground layer. So now you guys get to do it with me as I do this for a sec. And yes, I realized it after I did this one, and I did this one, and I did this one, and I got almost all the way done with this one. I did this part, I did this part, I did this part, and I was finishing one of the islands up here, and then I realized I was on the wrong layer the entire time, and oh my god. So anyway, we're gonna zoom all the way in, and y'all are gonna join me for this adventure of drawing. Oh wait, why can't I see it? Why can't I see it like before? When I was on the background, I could see it. Why can't I see it on the foreground? Why can't I see where I'm drawing on the foreground? Hello? Though I have to lower the opacity? Do I have to lower the layer? Does that make it so that when I go back to my brush, I can... What? Can I move it? Huh? I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, unlock it. Can I move it now? I need to move it to the different layer so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, no, don't move it. Lock. Don't move it. What's going on? What? What? What is happening? What is happening? Ah! Okay, I'm just gonna press the save button and make sure everything is just as it's supposed to be. Okay. Just gonna turn down the opacity. No, I don't need another one. Please stop trying to give me a second map. We're going back to the brush on the foreground. Why can't I see it? What? If I make that go away. What? I can't see it even when I do that. I'm so confused. Yippee! Thank you for the yippies. I am confuzzled. Why is it not letting me... Why is it not... Wait. Can I only draw on the top or the back? I can't draw on the foreground? What? Huh? This is so confusing. Okay, so if I draw on the top, but then I can't see my mountains. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. Fuck it. We're just going on what I did before, so you can see everything that I've done already. I guess we're just doing it like this. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is under fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Whatever. I'll just finish. You know what? Okay. I guess I didn't lose any progress then, because it won't let me draw on the layer that I want to for some. Wait, why am I on the top? What? What? Oh. No, this is me using the brush, not erasing. Erase. Okay, that literally does nothing. Okay. Whatever! Technology. Woo! How fun is technology? It is what it is. It is what it is, I suppose. At least I don't have to start all over, I guess. I need to be able to see the layer. Wonder if I could copy this background to the top. You know what? I'll just make a separate map for the underground stuff, because the reason why I wanted to be on the foreground was so that I could do the toggle thingy, right? And then I'd be like, haha, here are all the underground cave systems. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that, unfortunate. So I'll just have to do that as like a separate map, I suppose. You know, that's what I was going to do. All right. I haven't used this for very long, and I'm on a free trial of the promo one, so of the promo version of this, so I can use whatever assets I want. All right. Let's. Yes, Glitch. We are tracing over my. It's already a map I put together. So I guess I'll tell you how I made the original map, you guys. So the original map was about 7 or 8 different randomized map from a fantasy map generator, and I smushed it all together in different angles, and like I rotated some stuff and whatnot to make it look how I wanted it to look. And that kind of stuff, and I slapped it together. And then we got this. So I think this one was a part of one individual one. This one, I think like this edge actually was a part of one. And then this one here, there was this one was a part of another one. Here, I'll circle it because I can undo it. And then like this one. And then I think it was like this one. And then this one. And then this one. And then I think this one and this one. This one was its own. And then this one. And then there was this one and this one and this one and this one. And I kind of slapped them together, you know? You know, rotating them and whatnot. And, like, I didn't make the edges exactly the same as, like, the... whatever you might call it. The map. Yes, map. That is what I'm working on, is a map, right, chat? It's my map. It's my home world. We're probably gonna break lore a couple of times when I talk about it, though. We're gonna break immersion. We're gonna break immersion. Immersion warning. We're probably gonna break immersion a couple of times. I'm gonna talk about lore. Not the roleplay. I know. We're gonna get in here, add this little... Okay, so obviously there are gonna be more lakes and rivers in the world than what you can see from the world map. This is just like the significant ones. So like they're pretty big, you know? They're significant ones. If that makes sense. I hope it does. Because like you can't see every single little lake and river from far away. Am I missing anything? I mean, besides the mountains, obviously. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is slap in the mountains. So I'm going to go to my stamp tool. I'm going to open the catalog. And we're going to go to the fantasy world. Terrain. What's a good looking mountain, I guess? Oh, they have different like looking mountains for the biomes. Well, I can always delete them later and then replace them with the correct one. So I guess for now, because... One second, I'm gonna cough. I'm still a little sick. I'm gonna try to mute as best as I can when I have to cough, but... okay. I'm still a little bit sicky. I'm gonna, dark brown. Yeah, I'll do the dark brown ones just for now. And it should, oop. Those are very big. Those are very big mountains. Let me just size those down. Maybe like 10. That's a bit too small. Let's go for 20. 50. 50 feels a tad too much. And then I just go, I just go around here. It's just like a little placeholder. Why can't I see them? Oh, obviously, because I'm being a dumbass. I can't just make this one go away. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just fill in this area. With mountains as well. And it's going to be a little bit sloppy at first. It's going to be fine. We're going to make it look a little bit better later. This is just a... Why does that one look different from the other one? You know what? It's fine. it is. It is. I'm on a trial for the promo version. Slap that there. But I did make my map beforehand myself. I'm gonna make that a little bit smaller for these back ones. Couldn't work with it well. Well, to be fair, it's not very straightforward. So I don't blame you. I already had a map that I wanted to work with. I don't recommend not having an idea for the shape of your world. I mean, it does have a random generate button, but I tried playing around with that just for shits and giggles, and I hated it. I hated its random generation. So I would do what I did. Just Google up a free promo code for it, and then you can play around with all the settings. You can import your own custom stamps in the promo version, and so I uploaded a picture of my map as a stamp, slapped it on, and I traced over it. And that made it a lot easier, because I already had a map. Because I did not like their random generation. Besides, I already had my map. I wanted to put my map in it, but trying to look at my map and then draw it from memory, I was like, oh, fuck this. I'm just going to Google a code. All right, so now. Oh, I think I didn't have the. It's fine. It doesn't matter if their opacity was perfect. Where is the thing that I want to delete? No, seriously, where's the thing? I got a bajillion dark brown mountains. Where's the thing? There it is. All right, so this is my world in all its glory at the moment. I don't want to... Go back to my mouse, please. In all its glory at the moment. Wonderful. I'm definitely going to have to touch up the water background because it's not... I don't love it. I don't love it. It's not giving. It's actually really difficult to see. I think I might do that right now. Water. Water blue green. Water blue. Sip sip. Thank you. Whitewater alpha. Oh, that'll give it the ripple effect. I'll do that later. All right, let's see what this color looks like. Oh, that's too dark. I need something a little bit less. Let's go fantasy. Water. What about this one? Okay, that one's good. What is she doing? Outlining all haphazardly. Well, I want the shallow water to look differently, but I'm not entirely sure where I want the shallow water yet. So I'm just gonna kind of haphazardly outline them for the moment and try not to delete any islands or anything while I'm at it. If I can help it. Islands up there. Whoop! There's a little baby island I almost didn't see. I wouldn't have noticed deleted that one. Oh, that was really close to the land. I like this little island here. Or land. Kind of looks like a little monster. Rawr. That's why I added it. Because I thought he was adorable. All right, already looking way better than what I had. Actually, let's save. Boop. I don't usually do art-related stuff, so I don't have like a save redeem or anything. I forgot to set it up. It's fine. Here we go. Meow, meow, meow. Perfect. We just gotta remember to let go of our mouse every once in a while, so it's not all one continuous brush stroke if we accidentally make a mistake. The redeems, yeah. I just like, oh, thank you for the boops. I don't have like a save redeem to have people to remind me to save, so I have to remind myself to save. Otherwise, I will cry. I might sound a little bit off just because I am still getting over my sickness. You may or may not notice that Friendship is Magic is not available because I would die. I would die. If Friendship is Magic is a voice redeem that I use my own voice for, you either love it, hate it, or get traumatized by it, or all of the above. And it's exactly what you would think if you've ever seen anime ever. I don't have many clips of it, and I think the one clip that I could find that I know has it in it is very laggy, and it kind of hurts my eyeballs. Definitely like the dark water better for the ocean. I am gonna have, like, I was planning on having, like, an underwater continent, kind of a small one right here, just because there are mermaids in my world. They kind of need like a central area, I think. They're gonna be a little bit different from the mermaids you're used to, though. They're not skinny little mermaids, because you can't stay warm underwater if you don't have any body fat. They're going to be sexy, curvy mermaids. Between underwater continent and a higher ocean floor? Good point. That is a very good question. Probably isn't one. And I'm just being silly, I'm gonna save. But technically, I'm not wrong. I guess calling an underwater city would be more accurate. Like Atlantis, except it didn't sink because it was already underwater. It was supposed to be. There we go. And then, it's gonna be easier, because, like, look at this. It was a little bit hard to see the green ground on the white. I should have done the water first. I didn't think about it. because now I'm gonna have to go over and be very careful and all that. But you know what? You live and you learn. At least I have y'all to keep me company. At least I didn't have to start all over. So that's nice. I wish I could, like, make my own layers so I could have another layer under this. But whatever. Whatever. It's not quite as intuitive as I would want it to be for a map thing, but it'll work, I suppose. And a lot of these colors are placeholders anyway, because, like, yes, do I want a world map that's just a general world map? Yes. Do I also want a world map that this shows distinct biomes? Also yes. Here we go. We'll go back to 10. Get some broader in here. More water. I basically died for 4 days while I was sick. It was pretty bad. I actually left work after like half an hour. And it was time and a half. It was a time and a half. Thank you for the boops. It was in the hi, Toki, and the sip. Thank you. It was a time and a half, and I went home after not even half an hour. Because I just felt icky. Haven't been here in a hot minute, neither have I. It's going pretty good. We're very carefully outlining my continent because I didn't think to do the water first to make it a darker color. Would that have been the smart thing to do? Yes. And thus, I didn't do it because I'm not smart. I do not think ahead. I go, ooh, shiny, and run. Ooh, shiny object. Meow. Shit. I am okay. Still a little sick. Probably not gonna be a long stream. Probably just gonna be a short stream. But I missed you guys. I missed you. I should probably hide those. Because I don't need that while I'm doing the water. It's just water. There are going to be some areas around the continent that aren't shallow. It just is deep. Because, you know, like cliff faces and whatnot. It's just going to go whoosh. And you're like, haha, oh. You would die. More outlining. Oh, so I learned something recently about how mountains are formed, and so it's gonna have to make me think about my world a little bit more, because I do want it to be realistic. That's why this is also an excuse to redo all the biomes, because I need to do some studying on how worlds work. Yes, the world has magic, obviously, but I don't want to just be like, oh, magic, because magic. I want it to make at least somewhat sense. I want people who study geography to be able to read my book and not get cringe, because I did mock trial when I was in high school, and so I learned all the rules of the courtroom, and I can no longer watch shows that have courtroom scenes in it because I'm like, that's wrong, this is wrong, you're not allowed to do that, this is wrong, why aren't they objecting, why are you doing this, that is straight up not around. And I'm just like, I can't do it anymore because it's just bad. And so I don't want that to happen if I say write a book, which is the plan eventually. Though this world has been 2 years in the making and I've rewritten the magic system about 3-4 times. Oh my gosh, it's been a lot. There's been a lot going into the world, and you guys have just seen the map of it. The map itself didn't take too long, maybe a week. And now I'm adding even more time onto it because I decided that the biomes that I had allocated for the locations, nope. Needs to be realistic because I thought it was pretty realistic at first. But then I learned about this little thing called rain shadows. And I was like, huh, what's that? And it's a thing caused by mountains for a really dry area. And you know, I should have known about rain shadows because I lived in an area that, yeah, on the other side of mountains for a majority of my life. And I didn't know what it was. And so now I'm like, I have to redo it. I have to redo it so it makes sense. I can't just explain it away with magic because I don't want to do that. That's cheap. You can do that sometimes if you get into a tough spot, but not all the time. Gotta value. Gotta value your creation, to put in the time and the effort that pains you. That makes you want to scream as you slowly circle around an island. Slowly, and carefully. Because you can't risk accidentally deleting him. He's just a little guy. And then go over it again. I'll add water texture stuff to it later because I did see stuff for that in the brush area for it. But I'm not going to do that until I have everything like kind of set in place. I'll add the specific detailing later. For now, we're just kind of doing our best. We're just gonna go around this little guy. Go around this guy. Hang on. It took me way too long to figure out how to actually do this. I kept drawing on the page. You just have to hold space. And that is literally all you have to do. I'm gonna take a drink of my... I got Gatorade. Orange flavor. Here we go. Here we go. The hard part is that when you got a good line going, you don't want to let go of your mouse because you're worried then you won't be able to get a good line again. But then if you mess up and you go to undo it, it undoes so much. So you gotta let go. You gotta do your best. So you gotta let go of the mouse clicks. Hello, do do. Hello, do do. La do do. La da dee, la da da. Can you see the in between? I don't want you to. There we go. Very nice. We'll do this one. Uppies. And around we go. Round and round, We're never gonna stop going round and round. Oh. Round and round. There we go. Yeah, there's no way I would have been able to do this with my model. I would have been activating the hotkeys way too often. Once I'm 2D, though, I can have all my hotkeys set to 2 different things. So, like, I could have it set to, like, 2 keys, so I can still use my number keypad while using my model. Oh, actually, I forgot to do a thing. Hang on. Hang on. Ah! Hang on. Hang on. I know. Hang on. What? Oh, hang on. I gotta do a thing real quick. Because something is not reflecting. But I can't let you guys see my screen while I do this. Oh, great. It's making me log in. Okay, so that's definitely a good reason to not let you guys see. Okay. Technology! Is it this one? Okay, yes, it is this one. Hang on. Oh, you guys might already know what it is now that you've seen that thing go away. Hey, there it is. Surprise! I was able to put some money towards it. I kept forgetting to update it though, so y'all just never got to see it. I've been slowly putting money toward... 1 second, I'm dying. Well, at least I'm getting all my coughs out now. Not while I was at work. So that's nice at least. Thank you. Thank you, Glitch. But surprise! I was putting money aside this whole time. Slowly. For those overlays. I just kept forgetting to update the thingy to reflect it. So now it reflects it. So we're actually really close. I just decided to do it now because otherwise I kept thinking, oh, I'll do it off stream. Oh, I'll do it off stream. Oh, I'll do it off stream. But no. You guys get it on stream because otherwise I'm going to forget again. I'm going to save. So that's nice. For those of you who might not remember, I have a little bit of a checklist of things I want to do before I do my 2D model debut. And here, actually, let me bring up the list. And I will show you guys. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Alright, ignore all the stuff on the left. You can't read it anyway. That's fine. I have stuff that I want to do to make it really cool. And obviously, that's what the Tsuli model looks like, but dark. But also, there is a dark mode that you guys don't get to see the silhouette for, which is really awesome. But anyway, I already changed my profile picture to be the 2D art, so y'all have already seen that because I am impatient sometimes. So we're really close to the overlays now. And then next would be the Twitch panels. And then a custom schedule. The character reference sheet was per your guys' request, so that one is more so like, we'll probably do that after the debut, and I'll go to the emotes next, because we worked on the emotes of what you all wanted on stream. And so, we do have a list. There's a little itty bitty island right here, and you can barely see it. Here it is. There's the little island. He's just a little guy. Wait, what was the math for this? Oh, I guess I didn't put down numbers because we hadn't gotten there yet. I do have a thing though. I'll have to look at. I can put numbers on it later. This one kind of looks like a snake. You snake little guy. I did already get a quote for the emotes, though, I think. Where is it? I wrote it down somewhere. I have a... I'll have to find it later. Hey, I really want to find this now. I'm sorry. I don't want you guys to look through all my stuff. Some of the stuff is a secret. Okay, 250. Did I not? No, I must have. Somewhere. Right? Well, I know Blue is giving me the numbers. Because I asked her. I think it was like 900 something. I can look it up in our chat later. Because it's a lot of emotes. There's all... I mean, look at this list, guys. This is the emotes. It's a lot. And like, it's not all static. Some of those are animated, so you gotta keep that in mind. It's a lot. There's a lot of art that it will be getting done, and that's why I've been slowly putting aside what I can. And that's why it's taken a while, though. Also, I just had the dentist. I just had a dentist thing, and that was like $3,000, but obviously I'm not paying that all at once. I'm doing like $100 a month. So makes it a little bit tough too. But that's just life. And I'll get there eventually. I want to make sure I do it right, you know? Hi, Renegade. How are yous? You guys know? I just want to make sure I want to do it right. It's a big deal, because I've been 3D. I mean, I'm not 3D right now, but that's beside the point. And for those of you who like this PNG, don't worry, it's based off the 2D model. I'm theoretically CD. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, I've been squished. Deltarune abuses me. It's very cruel. Though, when I get the new emotes, there will be some dark emotes. Ooh. Shiny. Very exciting. Am I made of squish? I'm not made of squish. You're made of squish. And if you don't think that made sense, it did. Wow! Soundbite. Exactly. Exactly. Whoop! That's not what I meant to do. Actually, let's go down to 3. I know Dark hasn't shown up for a while. But once I'm on 2D, it'll be way easier to bring Dark out. Oh! No, not 80. Oh, goodness. Let's save. Just real quick. Ooh. Pop my bones. Actually, I'm gonna pop my back if I can. Oh, yep, that's better. Ugh. Get all. Ugh. You see, when I'm at my computer, I just don't move very much. Like, my entire upper body is just, like, locked in. So there's that. A blink redeem. Thank you. I actually really needed that because I do forget to blink while I'm at the computer. That's much better. I'm so glad I added that redeem. I feel like more people need to do that because you don't realize it, that you just don't blink. Yeah, I've been doing a staring contest this whole time with my computer and I haven't blinked. I locked in, I saw the redeem, I thought might as well do it to be safe. Yes. You know, I might, because these are, I don't know if I put these in a specific order, but I've already gotten the quote for the emotes and, like, the custom overlays. It's an animated starting, BRB, and ending, so, animated chat, and then, I think, maybe animated chat. And then the still gaming backgrounds. So, there's that. And then I got the quote for the emotes, so I might do the emotes next because she's gonna need a lot of time for the emotes. You know, every once in a while she might just work on an emote. Like, just here and there as a in-between projects of different stuffs. Also, I just want to give them money. Because art. I want the art! To be able to art. How amazing. I love them. I want more art. I need more art. Art's expensive, but it's so worth it. It's expensive, and I'm constantly not have art money. We have art at home. This is the art at home. Art at home. That's the art at home. An artist Twitcher isn't swimming in cash. Artists are broke. Chronically. I want to support my art friends. The part that I want art is just a coincidence. But there's only so much I can do because the way I do my money is that I have to set aside money for bills. And then that's most of it. I have to set aside money for food. That's another big chunk of it. And then I have to set aside money for savings because I have no savings after I was out of work for 3 months. And then I basically don't have any money left. And that's my fun money, which is what's up there. It's up there. There's my fun money. Because it's fun to have art. Most of the time it's about $50. My gas money comes from my tips, so at the very least I don't have to worry about that. I'm still on my family plan from before I moved states, so I don't have to worry about my phone. So it's just the major bills of rent, water, electric, Wi-Fi, car insurance, my dentist bill, which is $100 a month. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The normal stuff. And then I keep talking about periodically this online job I'm supposed to be starting. But it's really difficult because I haven't even gotten started yet. We haven't even finished the training. We've had one training session. And the second training session keeps getting postponed. And it's free. It's free training. It's amazing. I love it. It's great. Because once I am trained, it'll be amazing. But the guy who's training us is very busy all the time. And it makes it difficult. So we don't even have a date set for the next one. And I guess I'm just going to suffer. Have money second high. Yeah. I mean, eventually, I do want to publish a book. And I'm definitely going to get the cover art from Blue and Burb. Because where else would I get it from? They're amazing. Besides, it's really cool having artist friends because you don't need to look far. If for your art needs, you'd be like, friend. And then you'd be like, slap him in the face with money. Specifically with money, of course. Money and love, and be like, art, please. And then you get on their list. And then it's art that you know that they put love into. I mean, they put love into all their art. But like, I don't know. It's just different when it's your friend. I bet they've had rude customers before. I mean, there's rude customers with everything. What does this look like? I don't know. It kind of looks like a potato chip, I guess. My brain was trying to convince me it looked like something, but it didn't come up with anything. Kind of looks like a snail shell Little antenna, snail, trail. Little snail. I'm glad you don't have to attribute a specific emote to give people the artist badge, because first of all, you could have an artist who just did your overlays and then a different artist who did all your emotes, and then like, well, you want to give them the artist badge, but you can't. So I'm glad that they changed that. Here we go. This is gonna be a lot of work. I'm like, I knew it was gonna be a lot of work at first, but I really should have done the water first. I'm such a silly, goofy goober. Here we go. I keep dying, and it's very painful. I'm still not completely better, but I've already had to go back to work because I'm good enough to go to work and I need to be able to pay my bills. The bright side is that I got a raise at the new year. 36 cents. But it'll add up, so that's nice. Gonna save real quick. More of a raise than you got, Deltora? Dang. Yeah, I'm hoping that the raise will make it easier for me to save. Because, like, I'm able to... I mean, if at the moment all I have left after paying all my bills and getting food is $50, right? Then if I get a raise, maybe I'll have $100 left. You know? It doesn't seem like much in the grand scheme of things, 36 cents, but it'll add up. You know what? Let's look it up. Calculator. It's the second one that I do. So if I was making... Oh God, what was I making? I think I was making $15.25. You times that by, let's say 30. 30. That doesn't seem right. 30 hours a week. Okay. So that's 1 week. And I think it was bi-weekly. Okay, yeah, there we go. Bi-weekly. That's more so. And then if so yeah, we'll say about 900, and then you do 15.25 plus 36, and then you times that by 30 times 2. Okay, it's about $20 more. So it wouldn't. Okay, so it wouldn't quite be $100 extra. It would be more like I would be left with 70 instead of 50. But hey, $20 is $20. That's gas. But I use my cash tips for gas, so it's not gas. It's just money in my pocket to spend on art. I probably drew that in a really weird way. I just realized you guys probably wondered what the fuck I was drawing when I started with the eyebrows first, but you know what? I'm just a weird little guy. And y'all have to deal with me. I think I actually have the knife emote for Sylveon is gonna get replaced with a dark Sylvio knife. I think that's what's happening in my list. If I remember correctly. It'll be dark Sylvia with a knife. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing little me's. And the great part about it is that it's blue and burb art. So you know it's gonna be good. Because their art is so good. Chef's kiss. Mwah, love it. Say goodbye to the little face. Yeah, you see peak art right there. Peak art. You're gonna tell me I'm wrong? It looks like his head is the blue face. That's hilarious. I love it. I don't know if I actually wrote down any memotes to get from her, because I do want some memotes from her. Because who doesn't want memotes? There we go. If y'all aren't watching Foxy, because I've been on Foxy's streams a lot, and I say that because she just sits in a voice call, and then sometimes I'll pop in and be like, boo, because I can. She sits in a voice call while she's streaming. It's just a voice call where anyone can join. It's her live stream voice call, kind of like I am right now. And like only people with like a certain role can join. And she's done this to me before too, so don't even be like, oh, you're so mean. Where she's popped in and scared me. So I just pop it on hers, and then more times than not, I just end up chatting with her. Can we get a shout out for Foxy? Deltor, since you're here. I won't have to stop what I'm doing. I can just see my wife. I get to see my wife. Platonic wife. In case that needed clarification. Yay, Foxy.
And a flippin' turret. Wow, isn't that lovely? Oh well.
That was good. That's a good
I
clip.
don't like that. That scared me.
That plain chicken, that plain chicken.
That scared me.
Lethal Company is a good one. Whenever you see Lethal Company for a clip, you're basically guaranteed a pretty good clip. We should also do a shout out for Blue. We should also do a shout out for Blue because we were talking about her a lot too. Yeah. Let's see my mother up in here. Where's our Mundy? Where's Mundy? Set, jump. Okay, I don't know where this next one's gonna be. Ready? Set. Jump.
Nice.
Okay.
Can you make it?
Can I make that?
Jump.
Yeah, I made that. Okay, we're
Okay.
good.
No! I deserve that.
Oh,
I deserve that.
Oh my gosh, it's just JT bullying me.
Oh my god, someone clip this,
wait, it's
please.
me now. Wait, Blue, it's me and you.
Oh god, it's us. Wait, you know what? I'm a good
Stephanie, I
friend.
would've gotten you
Unlike
a
Unlike it, she got cut off. Alright, you probably know who's next. You probably know who's next. Where's the burb? We need the burb. Because we were also talking about burb. Blue and burb. You can't have blue without the burb. You can't have the burb without the blue. Blue burb. She's referring to JT, who was bullying me. He was bullying me. Do you see that? Blue burb. Yes, exactly. I got to go to their wedding. She looked like a princess. Oh, so gorgeous. Deltor. Shout out for the burb. Shout out for the burb. Where's the burb at? Deltor. Deltora. Deltora. Please. To the burb. Let me save. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Del Toro is probably at work. Gihan? I call him Burb so often, I forget his username.
Bro,
Oh, that's his old model.
I
Whoa, he got 3 5 stars in a poll? Jeez.
I literally failed, and I built up pity within this one roll, and then I got. Okay, that's it. I guess, yeah, you did pick a good time to pop in, Somer. Holy shit.
Burb. That's the burb. I mean, the old burb. That's the old burb. He still looks cool. He looks cooler now. I mean, that's what happens. You get better with art as you practice. That's just what happens. I wasn't even paying attention to the games that they were playing before. I was just wanting to see the clips. You know what's really funny though? Is that I know for a fact that if they have their activity feed on OBS, that they can see when someone's giving them a shout out because I can see when people have given me a shout out. So I know for a fact they're all gonna see that if like they don't have a bunch of spam stuff between now and the next time they look at it. They can see it. Oh my gosh, I just remembered that when I was testing my shoutout player, I must have spammed Blue's activity feed because I just kept giving her shoutouts because she has the most unhinged clips sometimes. And that's just what I wanted to see on my clip player while I was testing it, trying to make it work. Oh my gosh, I just realized that after saying that out loud. Oh my goodness! She must have thought I was so weird. Nah. That's just my brain trying to tell me that. They already know I'm weird and they love me for it. That's the great thing about friends that you make on the internet. Is that they love you for your weirdness. For the chaos! Arson! I have an arson command for those of you who don't know. Exclamation point arson. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Glitch. You like it? I hope you like it. I hope you like it. Arson Command. I plan on adding more to it, but I figured I would just do that when I have my 2D model. Because I'm going to revamp, like, everything. Make it better. Shinier. Bigger. Better. Also why I'm trying to work hard on my lore. What if one of the forests is my enemy? Well, that one is more so just referring to my forest. So, as long as it's not my forest, because my lore, I am technically a tree spirit. So, it's not my forest. And that's fine. I was taking on the forum. The Amazon? Well, I guess that's technically better then, because it's not on my planet, and I'm just kind of visiting this one. So, whatever you do to this planet, not my problem. Hello, Zoo. How are you? Daddy? What? Am I that sick that I sound like a man? I am a woman. It was Celia. She told me it was okay. Hey, if you get caught, that's your own fault. Am I a girl? What? Oh my goodness. Is the pink not enough to show that I'm a girl? Is the bow? Do I sound like a man because I'm sick? I'm not offended. I was just clarifying. I've been mistaken as a man before. The other time I was mistaken. Well, actually, they weren't sure what my gender was. They asked because I was wearing a big puffer coat and you couldn't see my boobs. So, you're good. I'm a certified mommy when I'm not sick and when I am using my 3D model. Sounds so girly. I might be able to pull it out. Hang on. How's that? I don't know how good it is since I'm a little bit sick. Usually people are pretty down bad for it. So far away. Oh, hang on. Let me try that again. Let me try that again. Sounds like a woman VA voicing a teen boy. Well, that's because I've been coughing all day and I am sick. Obviously, I just need more pink. Don't even worry about it. We'll have more pink once I'm 2D. I mean, technically I'm 2D. Okay, usually I'm a 3D model, but I'm using my hotkeys that are connected to my 3D model right now, and so I would be hopping all over the screen if I was using my 3D model. It would be pretty crazy. So I'm not my 3D model right now because you see I've been using my number pad a lot, and so there's that. I'm just gonna smooth that out a little bit. I don't love that. We're working on a map. We're working on a fantasy map right now. I didn't do the water first like a dumbass, so now we're having to slowly go around everything. You know what? You know what? Since I'm sick and I want you all to know what I actually am like usually when I'm not sick, especially since we got a first time chatter, here's my raid trailer. You can see me. Oh! He can climb! Oh!
Oh my god! Whoa. I'm seeing it now.
Do a flip. I wonder if I can do it fast. Oh! I hate. Oh! Oh! God, I'm trying to leave this. Fuck. What the? Fuck this.
So we're seasoned adventurers and climbers. We both played and finished Celeste.
All right, that's me when I'm not sick. Yes, I got captions. When I'm not sick, that's what I sound like. And I'm just kind of doing a low-key stream today because of it. But I missed you guys. I missed streaming. And even though I'm not 100% I wanted to come back. There we go. We got this. She stays as she intensely draws the outline of a water. This is peak content. Drawing water. Right? I thought it was going to be a little bit of map touch up and then more so talking about how to actually decide what biomes were where, but apparently I didn't love my map. So, it's just a lot of touch up. I'm going to drink some water. That's better. So, we're going to keep on going. Keep on trudging forward. All right. Here we go. Ooh, that felt weird. Speaking of all this water I gotta draw, I should drink some. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, y'all not thirsty of all the water I'm drawing? You know, this part is actually one of my favorite little parts because it kind of looks like a horse. You see the little, like, snout and, like, he's a little horse with a little, like, he's this little guy. I think it's adorable. It's one of my favorite parts. I am so simple. And the horse has a big butt right here. I just outlined. The bunny duck optical illusion. Oh, it could be a bunny. Or a... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're so right. Now all I see is a bunny and the duck. Especially the bunny because you got like the little tail like right here. Oh wait. Oh, I accidentally got rid of some of the land on that one. Don't want to do that. Don't want to get rid of the land. Just want to go a little bit around here. Maybe I'll make this place really deadly because my human form is allergic to bunnies. And so it would be really funny to have the bunny-shaped area to be a really deadly area. Maps are weird, you know? You just think that you're making random shapes and whatnot, and behold, you've made a bunny. Reading a short story, oh fuck, I have stuff about me I need to fix. Yeah. I should probably talk to a therapist about a reoccurring trend in a lot of my stories. But you know what? It's whatever. It's whatever. I just chronically kill off parents in my stories. In one way or another. There's Deltara after he abandoned me. He strolls back in. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I asked for a shout out for Burb and I had to do it myself. He did a shout out for Blue and then left. The audacity. Welcome back home, cheater. Exactly. Welcome back, Stinky. I had to do the shout out myself because you abandoned me. Probably for work. Exactly. Why do they come into your work? Oh, thank you for the link reminder. That's actually really important. Okay, this is a really tight area. I'm gonna go small. There we go. Small. Small. Okay, going high pitch is so not what I'm doing right now because I'm sick. I need more water as I draw the water. My poor throat. I don't know if you noticed it, Deltora, or anyone else. She's not gonna do it. She's gonna need a second to wake up. Because it's been a minute. She's gonna need a second to wake up. Just give her a second. She'll do it. I tested her before stream. She just kind of, she zones out. She also has ADHD. She disassociates for a little bit, and she just needs to realize what's going on. But the thing at the top, look at the thing at the top. I fixed it because I kept forgetting to update it for what I've been putting aside money this entire time for the overlays at the top, and I fixed it on stream because I kept deciding.
Oh, please, Deltora, your crown of thorns doesn't suit you at all. Huh.
What did she say? Crown of thorns? Yeah, that's what she said. I like her because I made her talk in puns. But yeah, I updated the overlay goal thing because I had been putting money aside for it. I just kept forgetting to update it. Because I kept saying I will do it off stream, and then I didn't. Because I have ADHD. So I just did it here and now. I thought 250, whatever the goal is, not... Yeah, I got 200 out of 250. I just need a little bit more. Stelvac! TTS is, in fact, working. Stelvac, if you want to use it. I made sure. I have the thing up. I'm not lying this time. It is, in fact, working, and it's all good. Being so close to the label. Oh, yeah. I didn't design it like that. It's... Was that you testing it before you put in effort? I don't blame you, because I've said that before and then it didn't work. I want to set it up so Budling does it. But I need to figure out how to do that. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it. I'm just too lazy. I'm just being lazy. I feel like Stelvac was just testing it before he put in effort, because I have accidentally lied to him before. It's on cooldown. Oh, do I have a cooldown for it? How long is the cooldown? I think I did that so people couldn't spam it. Effort? I'm just lazy? Wow. I don't get one of Stelvac's signature TTS entrances because I'm too unreliable with my TTS. You won't say? That's the... Wait, what? Hang on. Let me look at this, actually. Let me look at it. Because I can edit it. Big. Yes, I'm just a big little guy now. So if I go to TTS, there it is. A minute! Oh my gosh, that's a long time. A minute's the minimum. You know what? There you go. That's way too long. 400 points isn't like someone following.
She's totally lying. TTS is broken.
Why is my... Wait. Why is the mouth messed up on the emote? It's too high up. I'm gonna have to fix that. Interesting. It's not intentional. It's totally intentional, actually. Yeah. I'll leave it. I'll leave it if you guys like it. It'll just be like a derp version of my PNG, I guess. We'll leave it. We'll leave it there. It's fine. As Deltora says, you can't see it when it's small anyway. A normal Sylvia is average height. You want to know who's small? Foxy. You want to know how I know? Just ask Budlane. Budlane also thinks that Foxy is small. Wait.
Hi, I'm Sylvia and I'm deleting all of the clouds from my world while its citizens look up at the sky in horror. I am their good and they will know it. Never again will the sky block the sun from reaching every last one of them and giving them all sunburns. Also I'm gonna make it canon in my world that sunscreen doesn't exist. Wait, there's still some clouds here. Let me erase them real quick.
You say that, but sunscreen doesn't exist in my world because it's pre that era. So people use parcels. Also, I don't tan, I burn. So, look how much better that is, having it be the dark water. That's so much nicer. That's way better. Delta, I have a question. Can you do big squished? So like big but also squished? Some form of skincare? Did they? I'm gonna have to look into that actually. I'll start at the bottom. Can you do a big squished? I'm curious. Oh, that kind of looks glitchy. But I like it, kind of. Now you have to do a big bonk. Oh my gosh, I just realized you have to use bits for those. Delta, stop. Don't use your bits like that. You don't need to spend money on me. I just realized that big emote was for bits. Because it won't let me make it not for bits. Oh, I'm such a bad streamer. Oh, because they weren't getting the sun protection they needed. Interesting. Oh my goodness. He's just throwing all his bits to the wind. Though those bits, do those go to... No, I didn't know. I forgot. Y'all should know I tried to make them channel points when they first came out. I did. I thought it would be fun if a bunch of people could do like the gigantified emotes. And so I was like trying to figure out how to make them channel points. But it didn't work. And I was so mad. Because I also couldn't turn them off. Innocent mod. He's not innocent. He bullies me. When he saw me in person, he bruised me, for the record. He is far from innocent. He whacked me in the head. I got concussed. Not actually, but I was bruised. I bit him because he hit me. So it's equal. Yeah, exactly. So Deltora is not innocent. He also bruised Stelvac. Look at that. Look at Deltora just abusing everyone out here. How dare he? Mods, ban him. She says to the mod that she's bullying. Deltar's like the only mod that ever is here for me, so don't actually. I don't mind mods. Mentally troubled mod of her own shit. Oh my gosh. You see, why do I even have a redeem? Do I even have a redeem where I like read aloud what someone wrote? Because I just read everyone's chats out loud anyway, because that's just how my brain works better. Why? You don't even need a TTS because I just read everyone's shit out loud. Is that why no one uses it? Because I just read everyone's out loud anyway?
You won't read this one, I bet.
No, because TTS did it, so I don't need to. I don't know, maybe I just have a hard time processing what it says if I don't actually, like, whisper read it aloud or something. I don't know. I mean, I used to read books all the time, like, in class and stuff, so I don't know why I struggle to read chat. Maybe it's just a streamer thing. You just instantly become illiterate. You've been out of intro ideas. Oh, no. Not the Stelvac. Get this man some sugar. Stat. Hype him up. This kind of looks like a face. Can you see it? Like, this is the eyeball and, like, the nose and the mouth. He's like, whoa. This is read out chat, so it's not like it's a prompt. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sugar. Where's that from? Where do you get these emotes? And dude, it's crazy. It's a penguin? What's a penguin? What? What? Stelvac has single-handedly confused me with that penguin comment. The frog you're deleting looks like a penguin. Deleting? I'm not deleting, I'm just fixing the water. Oh, he does look like a penguin! You see, this is water. I'm just making it more water. I'm just making it a better watercolor. I guess it does kind of look like a penguin. I like it. I like the shapes that you guys see. It's fun. This little penguin. Well, this is just a little penguin. It's just a little guy. Deleting clouds. Oh, because it looks like... Oh! I'm so fucking stupid. I just thought that you were being silly and making stuff up. Because it's very much a me thing to, like, bully my creations.
You are Jelor, a bright star that shines in nature's garden where magic twines. With kindness flowing like sweet grapevines, your spirit dances in perfect designs.
That's actually a pretty dope poem. I hope you liked your poem. That is Budling Spirit. They are my chaotic critter AI. They're pretty neat. Budling is nice to everyone except for Deltora. Boop. Thank you for the boobs. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wonder what...
Oh, Deltora, the bully so lame, chasing after attention, what a shame. Like a wilted flower, lacking in fame, your stinky antics just bring us blame.
Oh my god! Oh, that was great. Poor Deltora. No, he bullies me. Stop using bits! That's bullying! Or are you using bits because you want it? Because, I mean, that would go straight for it because everything that I get paid for on Twitch goes straight to my PayPal, and I was moving over up to my PayPal. So everything that I get on stream goes to the goals, even if it doesn't go up because of stuff. And I'm not berating him. Budling is. That's not me. I'm not doing anything.
I'm not doing a single thing. Oh, my eyeball. What? Hang on, I'm sorry. I had an eyelash issue, but now I'm just having an issue in general. Where my eyeball is like burning for no reason. And, ugh. Can I blink it away? I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay, I think I fixed it. Thank goodness I'm actually not using my model because that would have... I definitely would have lost tracking. Alright, carrying on. I do love the Peepo emote. I want to get a Peepo. Getting attacked by her own hair. It's not the hair. It was probably an eyelash that started stabbing me. But I've never had one that made my eyes start to burn. It must have gotten, like, really wrong. So, there's that. I've been thinking about ways to try to bring the bingo back, but I don't know how to protect it from people who just, like, follow and then redeem it for shits and giggles. Because I don't want it to be expensive, but, like, I guess I could, like, put it at 400 and then, like, refund it after they redeem it, you know? The points or something. I don't know if that would reset the thing to be, like, make it so someone could redeem it again. I hope not. I've ever seen what these emotes are? Make them all big for Stelvac. You can do that if you want. There is no pressure to, though. I'm very excited to get certified blue emotes, though. For when that time comes. They should be big by default. I wish I could just make that a normal redeem. That would be really nice if I could just do that. That one. Look at that one. Big Dumpy. That one's a good one. Look at that. That's a good one. Idea. You have the send points to make the emote smaller. Honestly, that would be great. Smaller and bigger. I think I like both of those. Yeah, that's on the list. It's on the list. It's on the list, Delta. Look, animated Dumpy, tail. It's even in bold. It's in bold. It's on the list for emotes. It's gonna be like that, and the tail's gonna be flipping around. Don't you worry. We're definitely gonna have a Dumpy, and the tail is gonna be the focus. I'm very excited for it. What is a deer girl if not with her tail? What is a deer girl when she's sick and doesn't even sound like herself? I feel like I don't even sound like myself right now. Can't do a hoof redeem? Not right now. You can see my little feetsies right now anyway. You don't need to redeem it. You can see them. Look at my little feetsies. Can you not see my feetsies? Look at my little feetsies. Look. Look at my little feetsies. Look at my little feetsies. Look at them. Look at them. Little feetsies. Look at them. You don't want to see my feetsies? But they're so cute and tiny. Is that where I was before? Yeah. The face of doom. That's right. The face of doom. They're cute and tiny because I'm in a onesie. It's actually perfect for being sick because I'm just kind of like wrapped up right now.
I don't have my usual cardigan that I have on. I got like a fluffy big coat. It's soft. There we go. Drink more water. What does this look like, chat? Oh, it kind of looks like a deer! Look! Eyeballs. And then nose. It's a deer! Not the feet. Hi, JT. How are you? You missed it. Budlin was slapping out some really good poems. They slapped. Also, they were really cruel to Deltora in a poem, which was also a really cool poem, but very mean, but that's how they're designed. Ooh, I should clip the poems. Oh, I'll have to go back and do that. I'll at least have to clip the one of Deltora getting bullied. For the whole world must know. The Budlin poem of bullying Deltora. He got roasted. We're currently working on my map. Here, I'll zoom out so you can see it. We're fixing the water because I didn't do it before I did the continents. Sorry, I decided to save since I zoomed out. It reminds me to save when I take a break. Here's the map. Pretty neat. It's of my world. It's my world, where I'm from. We're just fixing it up. We're just fixing it up. Making it pretty. I'm just making it look better. You should know what this is. I've sent it in the group chat. Yeah, we're also like looking at like shapes on the coastline and like figuring out what they look like. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like one of those ink splot games things. It's pretty neat. And Deltora keeps gigantifying emotes for no reason. Yeah! I've never actually done one of those. I wonder what one would say about me. Should we do one of them? Hang on, let me look at this first. Wait, where am I? Where's my PNG? What? I'm gone. What? There I am. That was weird. Ink splot test. Founded. Why was it founded? What is the... Okay. All right, I found it. Here's the first one. This one. Moth. Bat, butterfly, moth. This card is a relatively easy one in the series with Much of any associated stress in dealing with it, trying to understand how to conduct a new task. What? What does that mean? What does it mean if I see a moth? This one is 2 little piglets are kissing. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's a really weird thing, probably. 2 humans, 4-legged animals such as a dog, elephant, or a bear. Well, I said pig. Red as blood. Was I supposed to? I kind of ignored the blood. Black card 3. Crab. It's a crab. 2 people. Responses to this card can show if people have struggles in managing social settings and how they interact with others. And I said crab. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does crab mean? Oh, well, this one's a chicken. It's like a chicken, you know, like when you're getting ready to eat it. It's not like a live chicken. It's like a dead chicken that's ready to be cooked. Animal hide, animal skin, skin rug. Dark color of the spot can be depressed. What? Face? What? No, it's a chick. What? I don't think I'm doing this right. Block card 5. Oh, well, that one's also a moth. Bat, butterfly. How do you get bat? I guess I could see bat, but I don't know. Hi, Kiwi. Transcussion guard. Whatever. Block card 6. Let's do this one. Okay, my first thought when I just saw the head was giraffe, but now that I see the full body, I'm a little bit confused. To interpret my answers? Well, I looked for test, and it's not doing what I wanted. Let's go back to the map. I don't have a psychologist on call. 2 guns back to back. Well, I feel like that's a lot to unpack. I don't know. I don't have a psychologist on call, so I don't know what's going up. Proves you're American. I'm American, and I didn't get that. You've learned a lot about yourself. It's a cowboy from the bottom up. 2 people sticking their hands in a jar. Are you trying to steal cookies, JT? Her therapist collab. I do have a therapist, but yeah. I don't think she does ink blot stuff. A sip. Thank you. Good water. Making me drink the water as I draw the water. Yeah, I don't know why I make these noises. I started making random ass noises at work today, and I was just trying to make them quietly because, you know, sometimes you just have the urge to make random ass noises, but I'm pretty sure one of my coworkers heard me at some point because I got a weird look from them, and I just kept on being me because sometimes you just need to stem and get it out of your system. Sometimes you just need to get it out. And then it'll all be better. I think after this continent, I need to take a break. Because I'm getting tired. Soft voice. I didn't even realize I had that redeem still on. I can probably still do a soft voice. I'm still a little sick. Hang on. Okay. We're gonna be... Wait, we need different music for this. That's better. Now we have soft music for our soft voice as
we just color in the water. The peaceful waters that are going back and forth. How calming. Here we go. Very nice. Get this a little bit more down here. Try not to erase any of the land that we've already drawn before. There we go. Ah, it looks like we're almost done with this continent. I think I need to actually go a little bit tinier. Just a bit tinier with this to try to make sure I keep the shape of the water. Hi Linux, how are you? I hope you're doing good. We're currently in soft voice at the moment. So we're just being a little bit quieter, softer, more gentle than we usually would. As I do my best to not cough into the microphone. Luckily, I muted in time for that one. I know I haven't caught them all during this stream, but I'm doing my best. What have I done with the deer? Well, I am a PNG, and also I am sick. So my voice might sound a little bit off, a little bit weird, but also the soft voice redeem was redeemed. So there's that. Do you guys want to know what happened today? I was on the drive-thru. And I was like, hi, welcome to the place I work, Starbucks. You'll never find me. And then they're like, oh my goodness, do you have a way to turn that down? You're being really loud. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I moved the microphone a little bit further away from my face. The only person who had complained, it was not the first person. Not the first person I had helped. I did not let her kill my joy.
I am APNG, and I am sick. So you can imagine the stress I'm under.
Exactly. I definitely think that this dark water is a lot better. Okay, I'm just gonna do my little monster island. I love this little island. Before I take a break. This is one of my favorite parts of the map. Is this little monster island. I don't know if he looks like another shape. Through the window and drive away. No, she was just like, she was ordering this. She's like, oh, you're very loud. I don't know if you can turn it down. And I paused because I was like, okay. And then I was like, and then I moved the headset because it took me aback. No one's really said it like how she did. She did it so nonchalant, like she really didn't care. But like also she did care. And if I said no, I wonder if she would have gotten upset, but I fixed it and then she kept ordering and then it was normal. I made sure to be over energetic when she got to the window. Just because I felt a little bit petty. You like soft voice? Almost. I still have that lingering gremlin though. Here, I can be softer. We can be very soft. Very relaxing. As we color in our water. For our world. Nice, soft, peaceful. Don't forget to breathe. Everything's okay. We're just relaxing right now. There's nothing happening right now in this moment. that we need to stress over. We're just coloring some water. We're gonna save, because we don't want to lose our progress. But even if we did, it would be okay, because we would just do it again, and we would do it better, because we've already done it once before, and so we would know better. I think I'm just gonna encroach this a little bit. Just get a little bit closer, but we still gotta be careful. Still very, very careful to not get rid of the islands, the land. We don't want to accidentally get rid of anything. Just want to get a little bit closer with the water, so the detailing doesn't feel like it's as much. It doesn't have to be perfect right away. We're still making progress, even though we're not doing the finer details at first. It's okay to have the general idea first. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it, when you just have blobs all around? But once you get to those finer details, then it starts to look a little bit neater. A little bit nicer. Just gonna scooch in here. Scooch in there. Just a little bit. Very carefully. Very carefully. And it's okay if we make a mistake, because we can always undo it. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Scooching through. Scooch. Scooch. A little careful. We're going to be a little bit more careful. Give that island some space. A little bit of space. Not out of space, but distance. Here we go. It kind of looks like the outline of a woman's hair. She had like her hair tied or something. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe I'm being a little bit silly. Who knows? Let's save. Just a little bit silly. Sylvia. Speaking of silly, that's our 10 minutes is up. So we're gonna go back to normal. Ads! Oh no! People are sent to ad land. You know, soft voice actually feels nicer on my throat than my normal voice. What? I don't want to have to do soft voice. I have to think about it. I have to think about it when I'm talking and try to do soft voice. I will just suffer. Oh, that one got really close. We gotta be careful. We gotta be really careful. There we go. Scoopsin. Scoopsin. Oop. Scoop. Oop. 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 Gotta write music now. Music. All right. Have a good music write. You have a great day. You have a fantastic time. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. You will be missed. Bye. Thank you for stopping by. Stop back. Bye. Del, bye. Y'all are hilarious. I wonder if I make it a 10, if I can get into a little bit more places. Yeah, I'm gonna save. Drink some water. Oh. Oh. Pop my neck. Thank you. Meow. 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 Oop. Meow. 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 There's a little island in here. Meow. 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 There we go. Meow. 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 Ooh. 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 Oh, I actually didn't do anything on that one. Deer noises. Yep, exactly. Actually, the deer noises are hurting the deer's throat. I want to make the noises, though. I feel like you should when you're drawing like this. You should make deer noises. It just feels right. How dare my illness nerf me? How dare? All artists need to make deer noises. Yes, exactly. Preach. Preach it. You're so right. Not a hair. Yeah, exactly. A hair flippy is a hair flippy. I can't say. Oh, I don't have a hair flippy on this PNG. Huh. I'm bald! Where's my flippy? Ah! My gosh. This whole time I thought I had a flippy. Where's my flippy? Deltara, did you steal my flippy? He stole it. He stole my flippy. Chat, get him. Get him. He stole it. He stole it. He stole the flippy. Get him. Get him. I can't believe I didn't have it. I'm so used to having a flippy that I just kind of assumed that I had a flippy. How do I get him? Chowder. You can ask Budling what they think of Deltora. No, don't actually. He didn't steal it. I can't believe I don't have it. I'm gonna take a break from this. I know we're really close, but I'm just That makes sense, right? I hope it does, because that's what I am right now. Whoop, that's the wrong thing. Whoop. No, taking a break is good for you. Yeah, exactly. It is good for me. Alright. Now keep that in mind. Woo! Thank goodness it warned me. It just said that leaving save that might not be saved if you leave.
when I went to go close the tab, I had one thing. I had one thing different. Whatever. Save the game. Exactly. Save. Alright, guys. Alright, chat. We're actually really close to our custom overlay goal. Like $50 off. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Sorry, I had like a weird hiccup, but it was silent. Which is really weird. The next goal was the custom Twitch panels. And gigantic burb. It's kind of sad though, because like it just kind of, to me, it looks like the head is a trash can because I have the mod view of like deleting messages. And you just have the gigantic emote. Oh, it doesn't show on the chat display if it's gigantic or not. It just looks like a normal one. Interesting. Ah, so the VODs won't be able to see that it's actually a gigantic emote. They don't get to see the gigantic Gihan chest. That really sucks for them. You know what, VOD viewers, you should watch the stream live, if you can. I know that life is busy, but who knows what you might see. It should take up the entire chat overlay. They can see chat, but it just looked like a normal emote in the chat overlay. So it's gonna be hard for them to see it. I mean on Twitch? Oh, if it's on Twitch. Oh yeah, I forgot that people can do that. I upload mine to YouTube, so. Or at least I try to, oh my gosh. So we'll have the custom Twitch panels with little chibi art because obviously we have to have little chibi art. That's so freaking cute. And then we'll have the custom schedule and the custom emotes. I'll just run through the emotes with you guys real quick. The free emotes will be a wave. And then the second one's a sad cry. Third one's a laugh. And the fourth one will be a heart. And the fifth one will be a knife with normal Sylvia. The standard emotes will be Sylvia with a gun. Head empty. The thumb, like Blue's, you know, the big thumbs up thing. The pout. The gasp. The Normie gasp, specifically. That one will be from Normie. Small. The small emote, like Blue's. The keck. A keck emote. Head pat emote. I don't know how to describe this. I'll just... This face emote. You know, kind of like my current... Kind of like this one. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. Face. We got a little bit of the shy. We already have the Uno reverse. And then the animated emotes. Gonna be the dumpy. Emphasis on the tail. Gremlin stance. I'm really excited for that one. The rave. That's gonna become one of the raid emotes, so that'll be fun. The fwippy. The fwippy emote. It's gonna be like a little bit like they like slightly peek over and then you get the fwippy and it'll bounce. Deltarune is probably gonna be really excited for that one. The fwippy emote. Honestly, I'm actually really excited for that one too, now that I think about it. Bongo. Sylvia Bongo. That'll be cute. And Angie. That'll be great. Popcat Sylvia. I'm excited for that one too. Noted. Like Blues, because I love that one. An Earwiggle one. That one I'm also really excited for. Arson, so the flames will be animated. Uppies. Why is Uppies in animated? I probably saw someone's, but you know what? I won't touch it. I'll leave it. And then we had a couple of other emotes that I was talking with chat about what you guys thought would be good for tier emotes, though no one is ever going to use these because tiers are kind of a scam. But anyway, for tier 2 emote, which is basically only going to be me, is going to be a dead / RIP emote. And then tier 3 will be, oh, it looks like Dark Sylvia with a knife stabbing, covered in blood. And then the bits emotes, the 1K is the bonk. Sylvia holding a hammer ready to bonk, specifically. 5K, I have lip bite, you know, like Blue's lip bite. And then the 10K, I have a hooves emote. And then 25K will be WoW, like the blues. WoW. And then I have a couple that are just in the background that are like ready to go that I don't have slots for yet, but one day. Obviously, one day we will have a Peepo emote. One day we'll have a yes sign and a no sign emote. One day there's a Peepo leave. One day we'll have a spray bottle, and one day we'll have a spin. Once I get the slots for them. One day. One day. One day. Boop. Okie dokie. You giving speech to some other revolutionaries? One day. Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry. My brain is still on sick brain. I can't. Oh, okay. One day, my fellow compatriots, we will have the ear wiggles. One day, we will have the tail dumpy. One day, we'll have the Dark Sylvia stab. One day, we will have all the power, all the emotes, and we will be unstoppable. Yeah. Are my alerts broken? Did I break my alerts? I think I broke my alerts. Delta, you broke my alerts. Why did it not work? Well, thank you so much for the resub. I'm gonna see if I can try to fix it. They should be working. I'm gonna go to it and why is it not working? Can I go to why recent events? Can I replay it? Maybe it'll work if I replay it. If that is a... Oh, that's weird. I do allow clips. I do have a clip channel in the Discord. Exclamation point Discord if you're not there. I think you're there. Maybe you're there. Perhaps you are there. I don't know why it didn't work. It didn't show up on the recent events for some reason, so I'm just... I want the sound, though. I deserve the sound because you deserve the sound. It's a good sound. I'm going to it. I'm gonna manually test. I'm gonna manually test it, so just manually test it because we deserve it. There we go.
This is a subscription test.
It's not a test, it's for Delta because I don't know why it's broken. Everything's broken. We deserve it. We deserve to hear the sound. I like the sound. The sounds give me serotonin. Yeah, join the Discord. We got a clips channel. It's awesome. Let me just make sure I wave at you. Why is it not letting me wave? I'll wave at you anyway. Hang on. I can do stuff. There we go. I did something. All right. We're gonna raid. We're gonna raid out. I stalled long enough. But I need to get food, take a break, do all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream today. Whether you like chatted or maybe you did a little bit of both because you're just a silly goofy goober. This first message is for our followers, and then the second message is for our subscribers. Look at that. You get wiggles.
You get the wiggles. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. One day. One day. It'll be the Sylvia tail. That'll be really cool. I'm super excited for that. One day, chat. You guys already got the Discord link. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream today. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. You are wonderful. And I missed you guys a lot. I'm going to try to stream more if I can. I was sick recently. Hopefully I get over it and I can keep on streaming more frequently. Thank you guys. Bye. Mwah. Kisses. Mwah. Wrong channel. Make it good. Ah! Ignore that. I can't. Okay, bye.